Hello, everyone. I say everyone, it's 5 of you apparently. How's it going? Can you hear me all right? Is everything okay? Is this microphone good? Should I change it? Oh, mute it actually, so that I don't get any notification noises or anything. Is this good? Yeah, cool. Okay, Brittany says it's good. Yeah, like I don't know why it's a spanner instead of a hammer. Like I don't know about you, but whenever I was like in chat rooms and stuff back in the old days of the internet, it was always a little hammer. Hi, Dexter. What can I do for you? Why are you here? Why are you being such a nuisance? Why? Why? Oh, you don't want to be famous on the internet now. Okay, well, here you go. Down here you go. I can't have you on the table at the moment. So, welcome to the hobby hour. It might be a little bit more than an hour. It might be a little bit, well, it's going to be an hour at the very least. It might be a bit more. It might be an hour and a half. It might be 2 hours. I don't know. It just depends. Yeah, how's everything going? It's been nice and chill over here in Germany. It's been fairly relaxed day of staying inside because pretty much everything's on, like quarantine sort of thing. We are allowed to go out, but we've been told that the more we can roll that back and just stay in, the better. Because, it doesn't affect, like this coronavirus thing doesn't affect young people as much, but it still affects them, and they might still end up over in hospital. Like, you don't know that someone might have an underlying condition that they didn't know about. So just for safety, they've said, look, it's either everyone stays in for a bit now, or you stay in for like 6 months later on if things go bad. If you don't stick to the guidelines that we've given you, then we have to put in place harsher guidelines. So, that's why I'm staying inside. That, and every time you cough or blow your nose or indeed do anything outside, people look at you funny. And I've got a bit of a thing where, like, if I'm outside in the fresh air and I've been inside all day, like I like have to clear my throat a couple of times. Like, it's just a different sensation of air on the inside of the throat. So I get some horrifically dirty looks. So yeah. And I know, like, things over in the States are going a little bit mental. I saw that Las Vegas has closed all the casinos and stuff, which, that tells you that things are a little bit crazy. But, we're all going to get through it, pretty much. I hope. We will do. Right, so, the hobby hour. The idea of this is, if you haven't read anything or if you're just joining, I know over in certain parts of America it's still like work times. I think some people might join a little bit later, etc. But the idea is that we just chill out for a little bit. We just have a nice little time. Oh, Lisa's coming on the next one. Okay, 2 cans of Guinness have done you in. Nice. Not bad. I did get a bottle of rum for disinfecting throats, just in case. There's still quite a lot of it left. I did sort of go, oh well, quarantine. Okay, well, yeah. So I'll see you later, Lisa. Like, absolutely, this will end up happening again. I'm fairly certain. But like, we'll see you then. Sleep more. I'll see if I can arrange it for a little bit earlier in the day or later in the day. I don't know. Whatever works. Everyone tell me later, I guess. But anyway, right. Hobby hour. As you may or may not know, I do a lot of various different little fiddly things with my hands and paintbrushes and all sorts of things. So, for example, today on the painting table we have these little dudes. They are sort of like cavalry. Like, think like British bulldog with only 2 legs, and that's it. And there's, you know, like tiny little ones that are just sort of on their own and they're herded forward. There's the slightly larger ones that are ridden by nutters, little goblins that have no idea what they're doing, and then there's the big boss on the much bigger one. I'm going to paint those, or at least that's the rough idea anyway. Obviously, if someone wants to chime in and say, no, don't do that, it's boring, paint something else. I have a present from America that I was sent by Jessica and Brian from Crocs in the Kitchen. This is this is one of the greatest things that I've ever received, in all honesty. This is Discover the Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. 3 pre-printed canvases with numbered sections, little paint pots, a paintbrush, a mini easel, and some detailed instructions. Now, I was going to do a bit. I was going to do a proper video where I got like hello, yes? Oh, do you need to go? I'll let Dexter out. Look, if you're going to act like a butt, though, and you're going to come back in, come on, off you go. There you go. Just check. Oh, dear me. Sorry. I didn't realize that the camera would be able to see all the way down to past my knees. Yeah, like, everyone's inside. Why would you get dressed? Anyway, I love Bob Ross. I was going to do a whole bit where I played with some forced perspective so that it looked like the canvas was really big, but actually, you know, it's like they fit inside this little box. I was going to get like a little perm wig and some denim but yeah, never mind. Things change. You know, you don't want to overwhelm Amazon at the minute. So I don't know. We might paint that. You know, we might carry on with the miniatures. I might do all sorts of things, depending on how things go. Everyone who's watching and anyone who joins, the idea is that if you've got a little hobby or something that you want to do, or you know, something to just be getting on with, you can do that too. And you know, we'll just chat. You know, when you guys type into the chat window there. That was a sentence that made sense. You guys type in chat. I will do my very best to read the questions out if there are any questions and answer them as well, or defer to other people who might know better. And yeah, you know, we'll just have a nice little chilled out time. There isn't any music because if I put music on, then YouTube will eventually just like mute all the sound and I won't be able to get any more views on the video. But you know, feel free to put on some tunes in your own place. Ooh, here we go. Michael Fowler, during this time, thank God for alcohol. Yes, absolutely. It's, well, you know, so long as it's not to excess. Or like 1 day a week or something. And LJ says, I have some tiny paintbrushes, even smaller models, a scalpel and a gin and tonic. What could go wrong? Nothing. Oh, dear me. Well, yeah, let's go on. What have you got, actually? What have you got, LJ? What are you painting? Let me know. Let me know. Because I primarily collect stuff from Games Workshop, you know, Warhammer and things like that. But I have painted Dungeons and Dragons stuff and things for spaceship battles and all sorts of different things. I even went through a period of painting Magic the Gathering cards. Not like professionally, just like paint over the artwork that was already on them. And that was a lot of fun. It's just canvas in a different way. You know, like when I was on the film course and I was the makeup guy and did all the special effects stuff, because it is literally just a different type of paint and a different type of canvas. Anyway, while I'm waiting for you to answer that, I'm going to crack things open. So I've got my wet palette, which is a fantastic little tool. I'm not going to use it just yet because I've got these things from Games Workshop. These are called contrast paint, and it essentially makes painting utterly foolproof. And I'm quite enjoying testing them out. I've been painting for about 20 years, roughly. Games Workshop stuff anyway, like miniatures. I've been painting canvases for maybe about 18. And usually the way that goes is you start with a white primer and you paint a layer and then another layer and then another layer. Then you like apply a wash, which is very, very thin paint that goes into all the recesses. And then you paint more layers and you dry brush and do this. And you do some highlighting, really, really tiny little things. But in the last couple of years, they brought out these things, which is like a weird sort of flowy paint that you can get most of that effect with in just one thick layer of paint, as opposed to thousands of thin ones. So, And Brittany, I absolutely would show you my art, but it's all online. I don't actually have any physical stuff here, which is a bit of a shame. I have a 2 meter by 1.5 meter canvas back in the UK. Hello, Carrie. Yay. Yeah, so I've got this big canvas back in the UK, but everything else is like, it's like stuff that I've posted on Reddit and on Imager and things like that. Like I can post a bunch later. I'll absolutely do that. I'll tell you what, actually. I'll put a blog post up on the website. Yes, I will. I'll put it up on the website. Yes, exactly. You type that just as I said it. So like you'll get this like 30 seconds behind. I think that's the delay. I don't know. Yeah, I'll put up like a gallery or something. I'll see if I can collate all the different pictures of various different things. Like there is an album on my Facebook if you've got that. Like my personal Facebook, not the Martin the Great Potato Mensch Facebook. The website, I will actually post in chat now. The Great Potato Page.com. There you go. And that is my website. I finally made it live after working on it for a couple of weeks and then not actually doing anything with it while I was waiting for, the person that I was having as my proofreader to actually say, yeah, this is good. And they never got around to that because they were busy. So I just went, yeah, I'll just do that. Right. So let's get on with stuff. I have a nice new pack of brushes. They're a bit different to my normal ones, but they've got this really nice handle. It's a little triangular sort of grip, so it'll sit really nicely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying those. I'm going to crack open this brand new paint and we're going to give it a go. Feel free to pop in either the event or eventually when I put the blog post up, post pictures of all the stuff that you guys are doing. If you're being along with whatever it is that you're doing, I don't mind seeing anyone's stuff because, in all honesty, anyone doing anything really cool. All right, now we're 30 minutes in. I should probably actually get on the painting. Yes, Rose, Brittany's family, Brittany's channel, so good, so many amazing recipes. Jessica Croc from Crocs in the Kitchen as well. Crocs in the Kitchen is one of the greatest channels for whole foods plant-based that I've ever seen. If you want recipe after recipe after recipe of insanely amazing things and about like 70 different things to do with chickpeas, Giroudi family on YouTube as well. I'm fairly certain Brittany's got a website, but I don't know it. But yeah, look to the two people with the blue names and the spanners. They're the ones who are, doing good stuff. Right. That's not bad brush. Synthetic hair. It's not great. Not a great brush. I thought it was like imitation sable, but it's kind of cheap synthetic. But yeah, never mind. Right. So I've got the paint open. Got that here. Let's hold that open. I've got me water in an old Doritos dip pot. You acquire these things over time. And they absolutely are the best. Rose. Absolutely. All right. And then we'll begin with this little fella. Oh, in case it does come up, I have got a fan on just outside of shot. It's set to silent, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if it is, like, let me know and I'll turn it off. The unicorn that you can see in the background is Figuta's. I bought it for her birthday. Just before Rowan was born. I think she was like 7 months pregnant at the time, and I got her the unicorn because she was having a bit of a hard time. And I was like, you know what, giant cuddly toy. That seems absolutely like the kind of weird thing that she would enjoy. Peef is watching with you. Yes, I'm not surprised that Peef is watching as well. I will be completely honest with you. I'm not surprised. Dear me. Yeah, there's a few cuddly toys. Basically with the because I figured I'd try and cover as many hobbies as I have or could easily fit into the thumbnail. So a little while ago, I got my hands on a bunch of ventriloquist hand puppets and started trying to learn. It's not great. Like, I'm not wonderful at it, but I can kind of do it. So I figured, if I put those in the background, then I'd put them on the thumbnail. Then I'd best have them in here as well. And once you've got like 2 cuddly toys, you kind of figure you might as well put the rest out as well. So like most of the ones that are just here for us to sit with and use as pillows and for Rowan to play with. My son Rowan, we just pop them out. All good. This is pretty good. I think I need to be a bit faster about the painting, but I've never actually painted these before. Never. Usually I paint like knights and stuff. This is the first time I'm painting this sort of thing in weird skin tones. I'm learning. Like, I don't use these paints either. I usually do the classic: do a layer, do a shade, do another layer, do a shade, do another layer, do a shade, etc. Can you tilt the camera down? See, if I tilt it down to there, then I have to like squat down a bit. It's not great, not very interesting what I'm doing now, but slap some paints on and get things going. I don't have to be too neat about this either, because I can tidy up afterwards with it being the first layer and everything being quite bright. These paints are actually pretty good for this sort of thing. They've been designed for ease of use rather than, rather than having a steep learning curve, which is nice. It means I can actually paint something like this a lot faster than I usually do, because usually it takes me years to paint something. Months and months and months and years and years and years. I still have a very large amount of unpainted things. So, go. Right. Number 2 done. Yeah. Nice, quiet, chill. How's everything going with everyone else anyway? What are you all up to? I know it's, in certain parts, it's just after clocking off time, or it's just before clocking off time, so not everyone has finished with their work day yet, but most have, I think. More support for whole food plant-based. There's a lot out there, especially, especially Crocs in the Kitchen, and I know Dr. McDougall does a bunch of does a bunch of videos and still does many seminars and webinars and all sorts of things. He's been putting out a bit about things to do currently while things are going on as well, him and Mary. Dr. Esselstyn, Game Changers documentary, the Forks Over Knives documentary. There's a lot out there. But yeah, like Jessica and Brittany will know a lot more than I do. I'm fairly certain. Hello, Linda. 5.7 earthquake. Blimey. That is not great. I've never been involved in an earthquake. There have been some little tremors, but we're talking like really, really small in the UK. Usually along the lines of, someone noticing ages later, saying, "Oh, did you feel that?" So it's a bit of a scary thing. I imagine I would be quite freaked out by it. Woke you up at 7:09 a.m. Blimey. Managed to get in there more a little bit. Extra just under the chin there. Make sure we've got everything covered. Okay. Next. Chasing Oliver down. Douglas. Practically motoring. Yeah. Well, Your World is pretty good. Dylan's got a couple of good recipes. I don't watch him too much these days, but he does have a pretty good pico de gallo recipe and a few others. His cheese sauce was pretty good. I think it all boils down to personal taste on the cheese sauces. I've heard some awesome ones. What's been my go-to food lately? If I'm completely honest with you, pasta. Not amazing, but yeah, pasta and bread. Sort of enjoying those enjoying those while we had them. We've got a fair amount of rice. We've got some potatoes and things. I'm one of these weird people that likes to change it up quite a bit. I don't like eating the same thing day after day after day after day. I'm not like Jessica and Brian where I could just make one thing and eat that every single day. I like a variety. So, but I've got rice and stuff like that to get on with, and like quite a lot of normal whole foods plant-based fare, chilies. What do you call it? Chilies and pasta sauces, tomato sauces. Oh man. What you've just noticed, or what you've just seen there, is my brain failing to find any information. Hey, my mum's joined. Hooray! Hi, Mum. How's it going? Welcome to the quite small but nice, chilled, relaxed stream. Jessica is probably going to try and talk to you a lot because she has a feeling that she would get on very, very well with you. That, and she probably wants like embarrassing childhood stories. So, I'm putting you on warning now. Don't tell her any. Like, just so you were aware, if you do, the chat on this, the chat will just like play every time that someone watches this video in the future. So if you tell anyone anything, even if you think, oh, it's just this one stream, oh, it's got to be okay, it's just funny, it's on the internet forever, and there are a lot of people that can read it. Okay. So now that I've warned you / challenged you. Oh dear. This can only end well, can't it? Oh dear. Dearie me. You ever want to see someone's attempted YouTube career fail miserably? Just, talk to their mum. Disclaimer, presses record. Yep. Absolutely. I like the way that YouTube works is it records this and then posts it for people to watch anyway. So it's probably going to happen. I could take the video down, but that just seems unsporting, Deary me. How's things in the UK, Mum? How's it going? Oh, hey, I'll tell you what. Embarrassing stories about me, nah, but I can tell you stories about my brother. Not from childhood or anything, from the other day. How's about that? Jessica, I just realized you haven't been painting the same one the entire time. Yeah, I know, right? They're all really tiny. They're all really, really, really tiny. And they all look very, very similar because this is like a little horde. It's lots and lots of tiny little goblins and tiny little creatures that are coming out of caves and trying to take over the upworld. So there's lots of them and they're all weird. Oh dearie me. So yeah, things have been mad pretty much everywhere around the world, but I get to catch up with my mum now as well, which is nice. So my younger brother Matty is currently working as a postman for the Royal Mail, and he's been experiencing the same things over there that most everyone has. Certain items are short. You can't find them anywhere because people keep panic buying them, which is a very silly thing to do, and you don't need to. Literally had an announcement from Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, to say stop panic buying, supply chain is fine. He's working as a postman, and he he posted on Facebook that he'd delivered someone's post. They'd said that they couldn't get toilet roll anywhere. He told her that he couldn't find bread anywhere, and she said, "Oh well, I've got a bread maker." And he goes, "Oh well, I've got a couple of toilet rolls." So he's traded a loaf of fresh baked bread for some toilet rolls, and he's dropping them off the next day. which is brilliant, because not only is it like, a fairly, like you just have to wait, and then the bread will be back in stock. Oh, he was cracking a joke, was he? Well, he could have said something about that, especially seeing as I know that he's a trained chef, a trained cook. So he could have easily just made his own bread. Oh, well, now I feel like a fool. Now I properly feel like a fool. This is what happens when you're gullible. Oh dear. Oh my word. Oh yeah. Carrie. The certain stores are doing the shopping early for seniors. I don't know about renting out your parents to go and like do the shopping for everyone else, using that as a ploy, but yeah, maybe. Yeah. Linda, I am using acrylics. They are indeed acrylics. This one is called a contrast painted, contrast Grithhound Orange. And it's an acrylic that's got a weird mix of flow improver and extra medium and thinners and all sorts of things in. I can't tell you the exact mix because I don't know, but it basically goes on in one thick coat, settles in all the recesses, and leaves a much lighter color on the highlights, on the flat spaces. Everything that I use is acrylic because oil paints are expensive, and I grew up in quite a poor town in the northeast of England. So, acrylics, I found you can use them with oil painting techniques, and you can use them with watercolor painting techniques, as well as just standard acrylic, and you can do all sorts of other things. So I quite like acrylics, and also I can lick my brush. I didn't actually lick my brush there, just so you know, like later on maybe, but it's a very bad habit and you shouldn't do it. But if we if we counted the amount of times I've licked my paintbrushes, it probably explains a few things about me. Yeah. Another one down. What are we on to so far? That's 10. 10 done out of 24. You would never, but it was funny. Yes, absolutely. It is funny. And hey, never say never. Times are hard. You never know. What are the little objects I'm painting? Well, Carrie, they are squigs. Yes, I know that's a very weird, weird word. Squig. Squig. They are little balls of murder and hate from caverns in a fantasy world. Think Lord of the Rings, but slightly less happy, let's say. Hello, Sylvia. Oh, thank you, Rose. I quite like my shirts too. They're all very cheap. they're all usually about maybe 5, 6. I think the most expensive shirt I have was 20, 25 euros, something like that. Dearie me. Yeah, I'm not a very fashionable person. My word. Let's see. Hi, Elka. I'm guessing it's Elka if it's Elka. Little balls of murder and hate. Yeah, pretty much. I will keep flitting around on various different topics. Yeah, little balls of murder and hate. They are, I think, just like rabid animals that just want to eat things, because they're essentially, I don't know whether or not the camera will focus, but let's turn the thing around. Here we go. Yeah, so as you can see, this one has a little goblin in its mouth. It's eating a little goblin. Goblin is still alive, sort of holding the jaws open. They're little creatures, sort of like dogs or that sort of thing. They're feral dogs, wolves, that live in caves populated by goblins. And they're for a tabletop war game, a tabletop skirmish game. Okay, Rose. See you in a bit. Enjoy the news. Yeah, so the idea is that these little ones are just sort of herded towards the enemy, and they eat everything in their path, including, if things go wrong, the goblins that are herding them onwards. There are slightly bigger versions, which I will be moving on to not too long from now. And goblins try and ride those like cavalry. Which is quite entertaining, because sort of tabletop war games and stuff like that. There's rules for moving, and the rules for moving are usually this moves X amount of inches. The ones that they're riding jump across the battlefield. They bounce, as Squigs are wont to do in the lore. And so instead of moving 6 inches or 10 inches or anything like that, oh, good, I'm glad I said your name right. Yeah, instead of moving a set amount of distance, they bounce. You have to roll dice to see how far they move, which makes things very, very interesting when you're trying to play the game, because, are they going to move 3 inches, or are they going to move 18? You don't know. And they have rules that if they jump over the top of an enemy unit, then they sort of bounce onto the enemy unit and then carry on, land on the heads and hop off again. And that causes damage to the enemy unit. So these tiny little ones just sort of go forward a little bit. They're too small to spring properly, whereas the other ones are much bigger. They can go a lot further. And then the leader is also riding one of these squigs, but he's riding an even bigger one that is a lot meaner and a lot hungrier because it's bigger. And there's even giant monster versions that are about, scale-wise, they're about the size of a tennis ball. And they when they're on the battlefield, they spit smaller ones out that they've eaten. So it works like artillery. It's really weird. I read some of the story about them and sort of saw the miniatures, and I thought, you know what, times are tough. Let's do something a bit weird. Let's do it instead of knights and people fighting for glory and things like that. I'll take one of these little groups of weird things, and I'll do something a bit funny. I've got all sorts of plans for them, because if you can make people laugh while you're playing a game and having fun, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, does it? And this is not a group of miniatures to play in any sort of tabletop war game or skirmish game or anything like that if you want to win every single time. So some of the goblins that ride these into battle, I'm going to paint like the Power Rangers, the old Power Rangers. I'm going to paint some like the pilots from Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is a Japanese cartoon. I have a plan to make one of the grots that leads them into battle look like Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, which is another anime, which, goblins are not very strong, not very good at fighting or anything. So having one that's modeled after a brilliant martial artist. It's kind of amusing to me, and hopefully will be amusing to other people as well. But I'm finding enjoyment in weird ways, as is probably the way that everyone should do it. It's fun. It's silly. I'm a I'm a grown man painting weird little balls of murder bright orange. Why not have a bit of fun with it? Does Martin have any secret nicknames? No, I actually don't. There was a bit of an odd one that lasted all of the very, very last day of high school, but I'm not giving anyone that. No, because it's not very good. There's a one here specifically in Germany, but again, I like to keep things family friendly on stream and in my videos. Because my surname is rather unfortunately close to a very childish slang word for testicles, if you can believe that. Apparently no German over the age of 12 uses that word for referring to it. But I've had a couple of weird looks from DHL because of that, because they read my name on the door and go, really? So I keep getting called Mr. Testicles by some of my board gaming friends, which is wonderful. Am I going to add Skype and do a call-in show? Absolutely. If I thought that my internet could handle it, absolutely. Absolutely. I know that we had our little failed attempt at having me Skype in with Brian and Jessica on their channel when they did a live stream. I would absolutely love to do a live stream. Do you know what I would really, really like to do as well? I keep bullying Jessica about this. Well, I say bullying. I keep reminding her about it strongly. Jessica's brother and his wife have a video game and travel channel. They take their kid around and go to various different places. And they also do live streams where they play video games. And I know of a video game that everyone, regardless of age or ability, will be able to play. It's called Jackbox Party Pack, and there are multiple versions of it available, but essentially what it does is it's a thing that one person streams, and you give out the code to join the game to people privately or publicly, and they can join in the game, and they use their cell phones, their mobile phones, their handy, and they control the game using that. So you can play from anywhere around the world. All you have to be able to do is watch the stream. And I think having something like that with, all plant-based people and having people join in would be a lot of fun, because we can all do it from our sofas or our favorite chairs or anything like that. And we can just have a lot of fun with it. It's all focused around drawing. There's quiz shows that you can do with it, all sorts of things. My mum's actually played it here in Germany with my wife Saguta and my sister, and me a little bit, because I went to go and sort Rowan out and help him go back to sleep because he was struggling a bit at the time when they were last here. But yeah, I think that would be quite a lot of fun if we could get some sort of video game stream on the go. Or if it's the Whole Foods plant-based community that is probably mostly here. I can't imagine there's too many people from other aspects of my life come to watch me on stream. We can get that all together. We can have a bit of fun with it. We can, have a bit of a laugh the things that us YouTubey people keep hearing about. Oh well, you know, have you tried keto? Every single video. I think let's go. Someone has to mute their mic or you get feedback. Yes, absolutely. I can't remember exactly the way around that it was working, but I know that we were having horrendous issues with feedback when it was me trying to talk with Brian and Jessica. I'm fairly confident one of them had their microphone unmuted and they were trying to talk with me and it was just picking everything up because on my side things were fine, but then they changed something and it was fine, and then they unchanged it and it went back to awful. So I don't know, it's one of those things. We'll figure it out. And yes, absolutely, Hollywood fan base. Wolf Pub is absolutely our little weird group cult thing. Well, not really. I mean, look, we've all tried various different things for losing weight. I'm absolutely certain. Like most of us have tried things like, you know, Weight Watchers and, you know, standard like exercise, chicken and rice. You know, probably there's a non-zero amount of us that have tried keto and paleo and all those sort of meat-centric ones as well. That's probably not went very well, didn't for me. You know, all of that. We've probably tried many, many different things, and now we finally found something that works. So I don't know about it being like a cult, really. It probably is. that's just what someone in a cult would say, Martin. No, it's not a cult. Yeah, have you read this book? Yeah, go and watch this lecture. Once you see this lecture, you'll change your mind completely, I swear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Learning wonderful things about ourselves, aren't we? Right. There's another one down. Just to give you an idea of how fast this is going, I bought a pack of 9 miniatures. When was it? I bought a pack of 9 miniatures in July of last year. It's not a cult. carved into a potato on a t-shirt. Absolutely. I really need to get on and start making t-shirts and stuff. Like no one's really called it the funny merchandise game. We used to walk past the Scientology building in Toronto to see if anyone would try to convert us. It is something that I would really like to do. Actually, go and get my Phaeton level checked, just because I really like to go through it, and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, so you know, like, how much can you afford?" And I just be like, "I don't have a job." Oh, dearie me, it's such a weird religion. It really is, and yes, it is pretty much a cult. I'm like, oh, dearie me. Yeah, as I was saying, we'll come away from the Scientology thing, I suppose. Yeah, like t-shirts and the merchandise game. I need to get on that. You watch a movie online about Scientology and then realize they start sending you mail. Oh, that's okay. That's kind of creepy. But was it behind some sort of wall where you had to put in your email address, or was it like, did you accidentally subscribe or something? Did you toggle a button that said, yeah, send me newsletters? Because that's really creepy. If not, that's really creepy. People are going to come up and ask me what's Pico. Or ask Alan what Pico is. Well, yeah. And you know what? Then you get to educate them on what Pico is. Guess it happened to Joe Rogan too. Like honestly, with Joe Rogan, nothing would surprise me. It really wouldn't. I don't know much about the man, but I have a feeling that weird stuff happens to him. Oh, here we go. Oh, you rented a movie from a site that wasn't posing as a Scientology site. Ah, I see. I see. Weird. I think the weirdest movie that I've ever seen for stuff like that, where it completely goes off of what you thought you were watching. Now, hold on to your hats here. It's a movie called Zeitgeist. Now, some people might know what it is. Some people might not know what it is. I didn't know what it was. I was told to watch it by a man that I worked with many, many years ago on a taxi firm. And, I was like, oh, right, okay, well, that sounds interesting. Because I went into, he sort of told me about it and said, oh, yeah, it's got some really interesting information. I think you might really be, sort of surprised by what's in there. It's, it's a movie that's just online, it's not being distributed anywhere because it tells some truths about, like various different things. It's like, oh, right, okay. So I started watching it, and it starts out and it, talks about how Christianity is literally just a religion based around sun worship, because it's all about the what do you call it? It's about the winter solstice is 3 days long. Starts on December 22nd roughly, and rises again like on December 25th. But the equinox isn't celebrated up until summer during Easter and all that sort of thing. It's called the god's sun. It's like, whoa, okay, weird stuff, but fair enough. I know there's a lot of research gone into things. Not commenting on it in any way, shape, or form. I know quite a lot of people are godly, that sort of thing. But I was kind of intrigued by it, and then it moved into the second part, and the second part was talking about 9/11 and how it was a government setup of sorts, and the standard sort of rubbish that they have. The standard rubbish, like, oh yeah, well, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and that's things have been looked into. Like, it's look at any government, not even just American. Look at any government, and you tell me whether or not they could handle keeping something secret from people at all. Like, they can't even keep speeches that have been pre-written secret, and people are sort of saying like, oh yeah, well government conspiracy. No. But anyway, that sort of turned me off from it. I was like, this is starting to get a little bit weird now. And then it finally went into how into part 3, and I turned it off after about 5 minutes in part 3, because part 3 was talking about how the Holocaust never happened. And how really the National Socialists had some good ideas, and this and that. I was like, no. Like most things about propaganda, like most things about conspiracy theories and stuff like that, it starts out with a much lower on the scale lie, something that's easily, like, oh yeah, that sounds really reasonable. Oh yeah, when you lay it all out, and there's all these other religions and things, all these other characters from history that are born on December 25th, the virgin birth, and say, all that sounds fairly, fairly reasonable. And then it gets into the slightly more oddball one, which is, it was 9/11 was an inside plot. It was by this, and then it goes whole hog, jump the shark. Hey, actually, eugenics is a thing, and I'm not ever going to be taken in by that sort of stuff. So I say that now anyway. Hopefully, I will never be taken in by any sort of nutso conspiracy theory rubbish. But yeah, it wasn't it wasn't great. So I did my best to avoid that guy from then on. This was just as British National Party and UKIP and all those things were happening. This was well before all sorts of things that have happened since. It's really quite worrying. It's not a very good movie. I heartily recommend that you do not search it out. Do not give people those views because it is abhorrent and ludicrous and it has no place in society. And it shouldn't have a place in society at all. People can have opposing political views, but the moment that your political view starts sounding like, oh, well, we should kill those people, that's where bad things happen. And that's where we should not tolerate it anymore. Love conspiracy. See, that's the thing. I really like seeing conspiracy theories. I like learning about conspiracy theories. I have so much in my brain about weird things that people believe. Like I can't even describe it properly. It's like the theory that with the 9 planets or 8 planets, I suppose, of the solar system that we know of aren't the only solar system. Like the blue sky that you see during the daytime isn't our sky. It's the atmosphere of another planet that is about 7 times bigger than the planet Earth and is directly in our orbit. Like we are a moon of this planet. And there's like an entire new solar system of like 11 planets that we can't observe that all somehow just aren't in the night sky at the same time. There's two suns. We're a binary solar system. Like all of this rubbish is just absolutely nuts. It's like it's crazy. It really is. But people believe it because they're led into these things and want to feel special. And yeah, absolutely, Karen. People need to do research for themselves and back the story up with facts. But it's when it's people that don't learn critical thinking and how to assess evidence for properly. That's when things go horribly wrong. If you do want to see just how people change their outlook to support their pre-existing worldview in spite of evidence, Behind the Curve, which is the documentary on Netflix about the flat earthers, the people making the documentary don't actually speak. They just show you mostly unedited interviews with people in the flat earth movement, the people really high up in the flat earth movement, which has members all around the globe. Okay, Mum. I will speak to you tomorrow on Skype, and yes, we'll sort something out. We'll have a chat. But yeah, just weird things. The the goalposts for evidence just keep getting moved all the way through this documentary, and it's no one doing the moving for them. It's literally just all the flat earthers that are saying like, oh well, we figured that actually we got this experiment wrong because it said that the Earth was a globe, so we're gonna do it again under these even more strict conditions. And then they did. it again came back that the Earth was round. So they, they then said, "Oh well, we need like $10,000 to buy this laser gyroscope to do the experiment again because obviously it's just something wrong with our equipment." Like nuts out things. Let's see, where are we catching up? Where are we catching up from? Alan, you a lady that been in concentration camp, rarely spoke of it, but had the tattoo on her arm, show you it. Yep, absolutely. I've seen one tattoo from a concentration camp in real life right in front of me. It's a scary thing. Berlin has so many places and reminders of everything that happened during World War II. It's really quite sobering, actually. A thing that I didn't know about and was surprised by is I can never remember the name of it. It's the Stoppelstein. There's these little brass plaques set into the floor, into cobblestone and streets, paving slabs and that sort of thing, with the names, birth dates, and fates of people that were taken from Berlin and sent to concentration camps. Some were freed, some it says, we just don't know, there aren't any records. Some say, they were executed on this date. It's it's a reminder that I didn't know was there, because we never hear about anything like that in the UK. And it was a big shock to me that was just a thing. Like it's not even hidden. It's not like you have to go and like look it up or anything. It's just there for you to see and for you to mark and pay respects if that's your way. And yeah, it's really something else. I like another thing that just surprised me, especially coming from the UK. On a slightly happier note, is there's a museum here that's completely free to enter, and it's the Museum of the European Union. And it's quite literally, you can walk in off the street, and it just has all the information about everything that the EU is currently up to, all the different agreements and all the different things that have been worked out as of then. All the things that have happened previously and been decided, all the things that are currently being decided upon, everything. And it's just, things like, oh yeah, look, we discuss a bill about farmers in Romania and, like certain things about land and this and that. And it's just there. It's this wonderful thing where, I wonder what is actually happening in the EU, and you can go and find out. And it's not hidden by anything. It's just like, here you go. You can just walk in off the street, get a coffee, find out what's going on. Whereas in the UK, we don't have anything even remotely approaching that about the EU. We don't have anything about the history of it. Whereas here, it's like there's one in almost every city. Just, oh yeah, there you go. Like you're interested, like off you go, learn about it. And it's part of everyday life, remarking that you are a member of the European Union over here. Or it feels like it to me anyway. Like I don't know how people actually from Germany feel about it, but yeah, like that was wonderful to me. I mean, I moved over just after the Brexit vote result. And yeah, just like something like that was utterly awesome for me. Here we go. Here we go. Popping off now, Martin. First wife's family were Austrian Jews. Most wouldn't believe Hitler could do anything and didn't make it. Yeah, that's unfortunately a big part of history. What are you talking about? That's not going to happen. And then it did. In some cases, people who actually voted for it to happen as well. They never thought leopards would eat my face, said the woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. Let's see, watching Time Ghost History from Elga, great series on Between the Wars. They try to be as unbiased as possible. That sounds pretty interesting. I might give that a look because I've heard about stuff from sort of the outside of what happened between the two wars. I've seen a little bit in German history museums and things about what was happening between the wars, but it was mostly focused on what Hitler was doing in his rise to power. So, whole thing is a huge experiment. Isolation causes loneliness. Loneliness causes addictions. Yeah, and everyone likes to feel special as well. That's another part of it. Like, oh yeah, here's some secret information that you don't know and that no one will tell you. Like the man is trying to keep it from you. Yeah. Friend's mother had a tattoo. Ooh, my word. Have you thought about being a Berlin tour guide for English-speaking tourists? Not at the moment, obviously, but in the future. I did actually think about it when I first moved here, because my German isn't great, Sylvia. It's really not. And I thought, oh well, something like that. Like quite a lot of people that come speak English at least as a second language, and I thought, that's something that I could probably do once we get Rowan into Akita, into kindergarten. Then great, I can do that. But what has happened is he's only in for a certain amount of hours each day, so I could only work like maybe 2 hours or something, and then have to go and pick him up. The tour guide market is completely saturated over here. They've got more than enough English speakers. They want people who speak Mandarin, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Italian, and all sorts of things. So I'm not quite at that level yet. I think once I've got my hands firmly on German, once I'm like B2, C1, something like that, then I'll start on Italian. I quite like Italian. So a thing that I do, I mentioned this in videos before, because now we're going off on tangent because I've put the paint away. The thing that I like doing is learning a song in a language, and like a different song in different languages. So for example, Russian, I learned Katyusha, which is like a Russian army song about a young girl whose lover goes off to war, I believe. I learned a song called Canta per me in Italian, which is Sing for My Soul, a Sweet Song, the Hymn of Death. It's a delightful song. It's really upbeat and nice, but the lyrics are a little bit weird. Countless Japanese and German songs, just because, I like weird music. I've got like 2 in French, I think. I learned the song in Icelandic as well. Just like it's nice, and it helps with vocal training and getting your head around different vowel sounds and that sort of thing. I don't play guitar. I did try and learn. I had some classes, but I couldn't get around strumming. I couldn't figure out how to make these sausages work properly, even though I'm fairly dexterous and kind of semi-ambidextrous. I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I ended up giving it up. I tried learning bass because I could do like 1, 2 fingers and play with plectrum, but it didn't last long. I did try. I had a few lessons for piano. I've always wanted to learn piano. I really want to do the same thing as Vika Yemeljova. VK Goes Wild on YouTube. She takes heavy metal songs and plays them on piano. She adapts them, and they are amazing. And she takes all sorts of pop songs as well. The piano cover that she did of Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel is incredible. And then she's got a cover of War Pigs by Black Sabbath as well, which is so good. Yeah, I want to do that. I think that would be quite cool. Oh, I've got time to get the piano out again, I suppose, and I've got my awesome headphones that are all wireless, so I can do it sort of unencumbered as well. Found out that Joe Public have no idea about the logistics of things around them at all. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They have no idea in a great many cases. Absolutely. I'm going to have some water. Yeah, some of the things, some people have no concept of what's going on at all. Absolutely not. It's, yeah. I like current situation, for example, the amount of people that I've seen, even here in Germany, talking about, oh, well, we're young, we're not going to get this disease. It only affects old people. No, it does affect younger people, even, even if it's just 0.001% of cases. When you take that to a full population, that's still thousands and thousands of people, and medical care systems aren't set up for that. Like 0.001% of a population is like the aftermath of a battle. That many people coming into hospital, they have to start doing like triage and things like that. It's crazy. So I'm trying to wherever I can be like, just stay in your house, and they just aren't getting it. They aren't caring about it at all. It's so honestly, it's a little bit infuriating, Alan. It really is. A friend did a paper on English war songs. Then I pulled out Lily Marlene. Very shocked it wasn't an English song. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's an odd one. There's a really good song in an anime, in a Japanese cartoon movie, which was I'm fairly certain it was in the original release as well, in Japanese. And it's a song called Konsusa Tod, or Konsusa Tod. It's the German title of it means "Come, sweet death." Like, bring it on. Like, come on, let's enter the forever sleep. And all the lyrics are in English. Even in the original Japanese release, it's just a song in English, and it's really upbeat and happy. It's really quite an odd one. Like, there's some weird things. Very. Let's get on. Let's get on. We're a little bit over. It's an hour and 12 minutes, but I don't mind. I don't mind. Do you? Let's stick it out. If I can finish off. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 miniatures left to paint. Whoops. My lid's closed. Let me put a paint. I am getting a little bit orange, by the way. Should have seen me earlier before I washed my hands out. I was this wonderful bone colour. Oh dear. Should have probably put on some gloves, but gloves for spray painting. Who's got the time? Who's got time? Probably anyone, actually. Dearie me. Dearie me. Yeah. Once I finish this orange on everything, I don't know, we'll see if we're an hour and a half in. If we're an hour and a half in, like, end it. Or I might keep going for 2 hours, who knows? I suppose it depends on if we get a little influx of people. I'm quite happy with just a nice little chilled, quiet. Intimate feels like the wrong word. Stream. I don't mind. I've been at home with the kids all week. Gotta love self-isolating. Absolutely. So the Kita that Rowan is in, that my son is in, is the staff. it's this weird thing where the staff and myself, because I've been hanging around with them quite a lot. We've all had colds again and again and again and again. Like one of us gets better and then gets infected with another cold from another one of the kids, because kids are just little germ factories. So we're all still sort of getting used to all of the kids' germs and all these diseases and stuff, all these normal colds. So I've been losing my voice constantly. I've had 3 colds in the last month, pretty much. All different. I've gotten better, and then just as I'm getting better, I get worse again. And it's all down to going to this teeter constantly. And they've had much the same sort of thing go on. And it got to a point where they were like, oh well, we haven't actually got enough staff that aren't sick to keep the keeter open properly. So if you can keep your kid home, please do so. And I'm like, it was just as things were ramping up with, coronavirus and that sort of thing. I said, you know what? I'll help out because I don't have a job. I'll just, hang out at home with Rowan. And then 3 days later, we got an email saying like, oh well, like coronavirus, and like please stop going outside, like self-isolate if you can. And then 2 days after that, we got yeah, all the keeters are closing. Oh dear. So we've all been fine. Rowan's just to say getting over a cold. He's been sleeping a lot the last couple of days. I'm finally at the point where I'm not coughing or having to blow my nose constantly. That's nice. Chorus I was in sang in German Schiller's Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It does seem to help learning a bit of language. Yeah, absolutely. The Ode to Joy is one of my favorite pieces of music. I think I still remember some of the lyrics from the chorus section. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The lyrics for it weren't actually a part of it. They were a poem from someone, I think about 100 years later, that just happened to be, a thing that you could like sing to the tune of it. I can't remember the exact history of it, but I know that it didn't originally have lyrics. It was just a stirring piece of music. And then the lyrics came later. Freunde schone Gott Funkel Tochter aus Elysium, etc. Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't mind being home with the kids. Jessica, sorry, multitasking. My hobby is work emails. Yeah, felt that before. Doing well on my getting back on track. Glad your husband thinks you're crazy too. Yep. I have experienced a lot of this sort of thing where like spouse thinks that you're nutso. In my case, it might actually be, because I am, but Sagita was very, very surprised by the potato thing, let's say, when I first told her about it. And then even more surprised that I stuck to it. So we all learned something. Relate to so many of your challenges, hang in there. Yeah, absolutely. Like every time Jessica posts a video about stuff that she's having problems with, just like, yeah, absolutely. It feels like my inner monologue has just come to life and has started doing videos for me. It's it's kind of worrying at times, really. Like it just goes to show everyone's problems are the same problems all across the world. Like it really is. Like, yeah, we're all going to struggle with the same sort of stuff because we've all been eating roughly the same sort of stuff. We've all got those same ingrained habits. We all look at food and things like that in the same way. Yeah, no, that's why I'm trying to be good, but I'm not hard on myself if I'm not 100% good at the moment. because, you know, it might come a point where I run out of my stuff and there's just meat in the house and I have no choice but to break, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Such is life, eh? Yeah, touching face and coughing. The look I got from the Amazon delivery guy the other day, who delivered the box that these were in. Oh, because he did really well, did really, really good on the social distancing thing. He put the parcel down in front of me, a couple of meters away. I read my name on it, checked it was my parcel. He signed the docket for it, and just as he turned to walk away, and I bent over to pick up the box, I coughed, and the look he gave me. So I'm stood there, look of horror on my face that I've just done that to this guy who was being wonderful and nice and really sensible and awesome. Oh, the ground could have swallowed me up, and I would have been absolutely fine with that. It was awful, it really was. Ah, dearie me. Yeah, and the touching the face, like I've just done it there. I have to specifically not put things anywhere near my face. I have to put my hands in my pockets and keep them there if I'm outside. Or like if I'm just going out for a walk outside, I'll like one hand is quarantine hand and is used for opening doors and touching stuff. The other hand is used for touching face. Seen a lot of artists performing on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, absolutely. Like so many people are sort of. I think it's this wonderful like shared experience thing. I've put on this stream purely because I thought, do you know what? People are out there and people are struggling for things to do, and it's all well and good saying, "Oh yeah, you've got loads of time to spend on your hobbies." Not really. So like some people want to talk and engage in the social aspect of the hobby more than anything else. So instead of like, "Oh, Martin's painting stream," this is just Martin's hobby stream. This is the Great Potato Hobby Hour, which has been going for an hour and 20 minutes. We all get together, we all do our own thing, and just chat and talk. And it's not the most exciting of streams. It's not probably not every single person's cup of tea, but we all get to engage in some way. I get to sort of read your comments and respond to them as best I can, and we get to just get on with it. I would not be surprised if someone hadn't muted me already. just so that I would stop talking, and they could just like get on with painting or something, or listen to a podcast of their choosing while still hanging out with us all. But yeah, I figured I would do my part. I can host, I can present, I can talk for hours and hours and hours, especially now that my cough is gone for the most part. So why not do it? And why not, do stuff like this? Let's see, where are we? Let's see if I missed anything. I feel like I'm doing Madonna's Vogue dance. Avoid the face. Yeah. Worked in education, new member of staff. It was expected that they would be off with bugs for the first time a lot. Yeah, absolutely has the job. Schools are petri dishes. Absolutely. Alle Menschen werden Beute. Yeah. Yeah. Lyrics. Rose, the nurse. It's a hazard in and of itself. Yes. Carrie, yes, schools have been closed. Or like various different parts have been closed anyway. I don't know about like the full gamut, but yeah, like Ketas and stuff. They've basically put it to there's childcare for childcare for essential workers, people who work in, excuse me, people who work in shops and nurses and all that sort of thing. So it's something, absolutely is something, which is good. But for the most part, they're saying, like keep your kids at home and all that sort of thing. Kids who graduated to the next grade automatically. That's pretty good, actually. I know that. See, in the UK, I don't think you get held back by a year. You might get moved into a lower group that covers like different stuff, but like your education still continues. You don't get held back by a grade. I don't know how it is in Germany at all. I think they hold back as well, but I don't know. It's one of these things that I'm going to have to learn, I suppose. But yeah, like that's nice that they've done that. Like, oh yeah, like things have been disrupted. It's all right. No extra stress on exams and that sort of thing. That's pretty good. Only one of my family not in the medical profession went into IT instead. More money. Yeah, absolutely. Like let's put it this way. There's a reason I don't work currently. And it is because my wife works in IT. and can support us, and I'm the stay-at-home dad. That's the thing. I wasn't even like badly paid. Like when we had Rowan, I was working in a credit control department for a car insurance company. Like I was getting paid a nice amount of money, not amazing, but enough that we were comfortable and had saved up a little bit of cash. Obviously, we spent all of that on moving to a different country, like idiots. But Sugita works in IT, so that's nice. It means that when things like this happened, we had a little bit of a safety net and could buy a bunch of jigsaw puzzles and some some little plastic figures to keep us all busy. Well, jigsaw puzzles for those two, and these things for me because I'm the massive nerd of the group. So, one day we'll all look back at this and laugh. Absolutely, absolutely. I imagine there's going to be a wonderful For Your Ultraman sketch, a sort of redo about it. You had 3 ply toilet paper. Look, shit. When we went to shop, was 2 ply. There was none of it there. I had to walk back home uphill both ways. I'm in healthcare, but the finance department. Yeah, absolutely. All the caregivers, all the people on the front lines are. Yeah, it's not a job I could do at the best of times. Being in frontline care, absolutely not. And so, my healthy respect of people who work in care and the medical profession is through the bloody roof, because people put up with a lot of rubbish from lots of different things. People trying not to go to hospitals when they really should, people who go to hospitals when they really shouldn't, all that sort of stuff. People getting very grumpy for no reason and bullying staff for no reason, all of that. I would not do well with it if I was having to work in it. So people dealing with it day after day after day. Yeah. Husband does IT stuff, so between two of us we're golden. Yeah. Good way to just unwind after the stress of the day. Yeah. Oh, Jessica muted me a long time ago. Yeah, that sounds about right. Reminds you of the blog TV days. It brought a lot of people together. Yeah, absolutely. Monty Python is not shown on TV, I don't think. It's probably somewhere, but it's on Netflix. Believe it or not, it is on Netflix. You can just watch all of it. I did try to watch some of it the other day, the other day, I should say. But yeah, I don't know. Some of it's aged pretty well. Some of it's not really. You know, at the time, it was very, very subversive comedy. It was wonderful. It was just this weird, wacky stuff. But now, you know, sort of decades later, I don't think I have the same appreciation for it that people who watched it back in the day probably do. You know, it's still good. Some of the sketches are amazing. Some of them are incredible. But yeah, it's it's an odd one. Yeah, you can watch it all on there. It's all of the first season. I can't remember if they did more than one season. I know they did a bunch. Repeats, but it's not aged well. Yeah, exactly. What I said. I don't know. Right? Some of them have, some of them haven't. Life of Brian, absolutely Life of Brian. So good. Like the movies, Life of Brian and Search for the Holy Grail and stuff like that. Those are incredible. The Search for the Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, still has one of the best subversive comedy endings to any sketch, any skit, anything that I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to talk about it in case you haven't seen it, but if you want to laugh, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like some of it absolutely hasn't aged well. The you know, the hirsute and all the sort of nuns in the nunnery trying to keep one of the Knights of the Round Table in. That's just a little bit weird, but yeah, the ending of it, so good, absolutely incredible. Let's see. Oh, message retracted from Sylvia. That's all right. Netflix is censored in Canada. Netflix is censored in Canada. What? That's ridiculous. Yeah, use a VPN to another country. I neither confirm nor deny that I have done such things in the past. Dear, a little hiccup. But yeah, it's if you can work out how to do it, you know. Let's see. What I want to get into is Curb Your Enthusiasm. I keep hearing various different things about it, and I don't know. Quite a lot of modern day comedy I don't really like the setup shows and stuff. Like The Office, cannot stand The Office, American or English. Like English especially so because it's Ricky Gervais, and some of his stuff is okay, but some of it's just awful. You know, he's not. Some stuff he does is nice and good and for the betterment of humanity, but some of it is just utter tosh. Really is. You know, everyone's got different tastes, so you know. Saw it first time around, didn't get it all. Life of Brian is great. Yeah, do censor a bit on Netflix, but not all the time. Seinfeld on in the USA or the UK? I haven't seen much of Seinfeld, but I have seen little bits of it, and yeah, it's mostly on YouTube and you know, sort of like scenes and that sort of thing rather than anything else. Yeah, Seinfeld has some great moments, absolutely brilliant moments. Right, that's that. Clean the paint out brush. Some watched Holy Grail, weird, but really liked it. Yeah. Yeah, spam a lot. Spam a lot. Spam. Don't get the same show as you guys get. Yeah. Great way to get things like BBC in other countries. Yeah, absolutely. Seinfeld is my everything. Okay, cool. I might have to give it a watch. I'd like this is it. It's one of those things. Like it's a thing that I've seen sort of on occasion, but like not a full episode. I don't think. Yeah. Jessica says, "What's everyone eating for dinner?" I've already had mine. What did I have? Saguta made waffles. So I had some bread, and she had bacon, and I had some vegetarian sausages made from tofu. Yeah, it wasn't a particularly wonderful or interesting meal. It was like sausage sandwich. Oh dear. Right. I'm gonna tilt that up a bit. There we go. Now I don't have to bend down all the way to actually like see myself in the camera and talk to everyone. Have I seen Fleabag? I don't think I've seen Fleabag. Need whole food plant-based waffles. Yeah. If we could figure something like that out, great. I like sausage sandwiches, good, but yeah. We had A&W Beyond Meat Burger. Remember, no mayo, no cheese. Nice. Beyond, like the Beyond Burgers. I've had a Beyond Burger in the UK, and it was okay, but it wasn't amazing. You could tell that it wasn't this amazing, vaunted thing that some people say it is. But it was pretty good. Absolutely pretty good. Rose says tofu on the griddle with curry sauce and potatoes. Good. Need more spuds. I made fries the other day in the oven. Carrie, I made an Indian cauliflower and potato casserole. Ooh. Alan, I had potatoes, veg, mainly greens, onions, and a curry spice. Nice. Jessica's gonna have a giant salad, surprising no one. If only we could all swap dishes. We could. Don't know about like cooking for each other, but you know, I'm sure if we all, well, everyone's got one of these, right? Set it up, record how to make it, or write down a recipe, do a big recipe share. Sure, we could do like some sort of like Google Doc that everyone can edit, could make like a community cookbook. Yeah, that could be a thing. Might have to figure out some sort of like collation thing, like maybe everyone just emails in a recipe to one person who collates it and puts it in an uneditable document. That could be pretty good, you know. Yeah, that sounds like a fun thing, doesn't it? How's about that? We've been here, we've done all of this, or I've done all of this. I've painted all the orange, and then we finally had a really good idea. maybe, who knows? Put the recipe out, do a live show with ingredients all purchased. We could do, yeah. Tomorrow will be Brian's chili or cabbage rolls. Ooh. And Alan doesn't have fancy dressings on salad, usually just balsamic. Nice one, LJ. Right. 10 Reichlanders assembled and undercoated. Sweet. Nice. You assemble stuff faster than I did. Although, to be fair, each Squigs face is like 4 pieces. And that took a long time. I will see you next time. Thanks for joining in. Hope you had fun. Show me pictures of the Reichlanders once you're finished. So Reichlanders is another group of miniatures and stuff. UK supermarkets are empty. Oh no, Sylvia. No fruit and veg in Sainsbury's. What I've seen quite a bit of is people saying go to Asian supermarkets and go to local greengrocers. They've all got stuff still. Because everyone is sort of going to like these massive hubs like Tesco and Sainsbury's and Waitrose and that sort of thing. And people are buying as much as they can, but the Asian supermarkets still have like, 10-kilo bags of rice available, like food flowing out of the greengrocers everywhere because people don't go to greengrocers. They go to, yeah, yeah. I don't know for certain because I'm not around it. As far as I'm aware, over here, the situation is that most of everything is still stocked. There was a little bit of a run of panic buying and that sort of thing, but then after a couple of days, that sort of eased off as people realised, like, wait, no, shops are still here. We haven't been told not to, and now this announcement from Angela about like supply chains haven't been interrupted, like food and toilet roll and all that sort of stuff is still coming. So stop panic buying, you fools. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just direct to farmers. Yeah. If you've got like a farmer's market or something that you can go to, yeah, that's absolutely the thing that you can do too. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Well, I'll give it another 5 minutes or so, just so that we can all tidy up, finish up, and say goodbye, and then I'll probably end the stream. Toilet paper being called toilet roll. Yeah, loo roll, bog roll, toilet paper. There's many names for it. Many names for it. Use the organic books; they ship straight to the house. I had that actually. Way back when we used to get the thing a thing like a little wooden crate direct from farmers that they would ship to your house that they would post out. We used to get the Graze boxes as well. We used to get Graze boxes every now and again. Oh man, some of those were amazing. I mean, it's just like flapjacks and stuff. It's probably not great, but as like a little snack at the time when I was doing the previous weight loss thing, like a couple of years ago, those were amazing. There was was it a lemon meringue? Yeah, lemon meringue flapjack. Oh, that was so good. As long as wine can be delivered, I will survive. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Love my first box. I got so much food. Yeah. Like this is the thing, like you order from the farmers and they're not stingy with it. You should, like, I think that first box that we got was like some of it we had to like go and donate to other people because we couldn't cook enough of it. We couldn't eat all of it. Adventuring out for groceries in the morning, wish me luck. Hoping no frills has bananas. Hey, hopefully, absolutely hopefully. You know, probably will. We are going out shopping tomorrow as well. I think we're going to go and go and get some bread, that sort of thing. Jessica's off to eat dinner. Enjoy your salad, if that is what you have. Food delivery companies must be cashing in. Yeah, to an extent, yeah. Absolutely. Like a lot of places are still doing delivery. I got an email from Livrando, which is the one of the sort of third-party delivery services over here, and they sort of like Deliveroo and Uber Eats sort of thing. And it said that because of coronavirus, they were going to do contactless deliveries, which is they bring the food to your house, they ring the doorbell, and then put the food on the doorstep outside and then go away. It's just like, okay, yeah, cool, but what if they get the wrong house? You know, you just paid for your food. Brian says, I think this needs to go for another hour. Hey, if everyone wants it to go on for another hour, I'm okay with that, but we're up to like 1 hour 43. We're already at a point where I don't know whether or not people are going to watch the video for much longer. You know? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can ask everyone to do that. Like, yeah. Yeah, or deliver to your work as well. Yeah, like delivering to work was a thing ages and ages ago. Like everyone does it. I did a stint delivering pizzas, and the weirdest one I had was someone asked for a pizza to be delivered to a ward in a hospital. So that was fun for someone who's a little bit weird about hospitals. Since like I've gotten over it now, I think, but at the time it was still, sort of a relative of mine had been in a really bad car accident. Like all the worry and stress and everything like that of going to visit them and looking after them and all that sort of thing, that just wrecked me completely. So when I went into this hospital, I took the pizza in and I took it to the ward and I delivered it. And I got outside to my car, sat down in my car, and had a full-blown panic attack for a half an hour. So that was cool. Oh dear. Brian said, yeah, keep going for another hour as he's walking out the door. Typical Brian. Cousin came back from Florida. Her daughter left toilet paper and beer on the doorstep. Amazing. I'm into that. Like I want a delivery of beer on my doorstep. Oh yeah, the forks oven. I used to order good food and chef's plate for a year. That sparked your interest in cooking. Then you took the forks over knives cooking course because of those food companies. Nice. I have never been a very good cook or someone who is particularly interested in cooking. I mean, that's maybe not the right way of saying it. I've been interested in cooking and baking, and I can do things. I can do certain things. I can bake bread like a champion. Easily. Oh, Peef's taken over. Peef's in from Crocs in the kitchen. Oh no. Yeah, so I can bake bread, and bread comes out perfect every single time, pretty much. If I make it from scratch, I've done it for fun. Like, why not? One year when I didn't have that much money, I made chocolate for people. And that worked out pretty good. Like, I didn't get the tempering right on everything, but I made little chocolate pizzas before they became a thing. How come some names are blue and the rest black? The blue names is Jessica and Brittany, I do believe, and those are their moderator accounts. I made Jessica Croc and Brittany Drudy moderators on my stream. Just because then, if needs be, they can do it while I was distracted. I think I'm still set as a moderator on the Crocs in the Kitchen stream. But yeah, everyone who's got a normal black name is a normal viewer. The blue ones is like, these are the people who will, they do have the power to kick. They've also got the power to time out for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Which I used judiciously in the last stream. I only used it on one person, but I sort of said, like, look, the question that you're asking is not a good question. Think about a different question and then go from there. Yeah, normal. Everyone's normal. Like, normal's just, weird in a different way. Oh dear. Yeah, so cooking. Let's get back on the cooking thing. So I made chocolate pizzas for everyone for Christmas, and I made them for like co-workers at NPower and stuff like that, because when I was working in the call center doing manual accounts, fixing people's electricity bills, putting them all right, I made them for people there. I even made vegan ones. Like, you ever made vegan chocolate? Kind of difficult. But I made them and I took them in. I gave them out, and that was a nice little like Christmas present for people. But anytime I try and do stuff like bake a cake, just goes wrong every single time. I can't do it. I can't make brownies. I can't make desserts. I can assemble components for a dessert if I've got a guide like I had in a restaurant when I was working like on the dessert station. I can follow the guide and it comes out okay, but that is literally like microwave this for 3 minutes, then put this cream on, put 2 scoops of this ice cream, microwave this chocolate sauce for 30 seconds, and then pour it on top. Like, it's not difficult. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I don't know. Like what I've found is switching whole foods plant-based. I'm a lot better at cooking and baking and trying stuff now. Not so much baking, I guess, but you know. Your dog has just had a bath and you need to go and dry Sophia Grace's hair. That sounds cool. Okay, Carrie. Well, have a good one. I shall speak to you later at some point. Sylvia, iPod battery went flat, so I'm on my iPad battery. Sorry, now on your phone, and that battery's on 3%. I honestly, my phone would be on charge right now, but I'm using both USB ports for my lights. But there's something wrong with the cable in my bedroom for charging my phone. It's not working properly. So yeah. If we lose you, Sylvia, it's been nice having you. Hopefully we don't. hopefully you get a charged cable. But yeah. I've had a bit of a culinary revolution since starting eating whole foods plant-based. I keep watching Good Eats. You know, the thing on YouTube with Alton Brown and the Food Network thing. No, it says my connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Oh no. Oh, have we reconnected? Is it good? The internet has been absolutely fine until just then. And it's then dropped out a little bit. So I don't know what that's going to look like on the replay, or if it's just got me in there as well. But yeah, oh dear. Oh, there we go. You're back, but I have to go tend to the kids. Have a good night. Thank you very much for joining us, Elko, and you know, have a good one. Enjoy the kids. Yeah, you know what? I'll call it now. It's an hour and 50. Everyone's leaving. Yeah, everyone's going for dinner. This is what happens when you've got an audience primarily in America and Canada and that sort of thing. You stream for a little bit, and then everyone goes, "Well, dinner time." This is pretty late for me. It's 20 past midnight. If I stream any earlier, everyone's at work. If I stream any later, I have to get up at like 3 a.m. Right. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've all had fun and gotten through various different things that you were doing. Post pictures if you've been doing hobby stuff in various different places. If you haven't, yeah, we had a nice little chat. And yeah, I don't know. I'll figure out a time where I can do this again, and we'll have another little session. I don't know about painting more. I'm kind of motivated. I want to paint stuff, either you know in my own time or whatever. But yeah, we'll meet back. We'll do more stuff, or I'll pull out some other hobby or something. I don't know. There's many things. Maybe next time I'll paint the Bob Ross. Maybe it's just a paint by numbers kit, but you know, we'll see. See if I can pick up a canvas from Lidl. I'll set up a weird easel sort of thing, and you know, do the happy little trees. Right. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I will see you next time. If you haven't liked the stream already, please do so. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you want more content, or if you want something that's not quite as rambly and weird. And also check out other people as well. Crocs in the Kitchen is a wonderful resource for people wanting to go whole foods plant-based. The Giroudi family YouTube channel, Brittany Giroudi. Yeah, cool. Sylvia's going to get the cross stitch out. Cool. I want to see that. I do actually want to see that. Right. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. And yeah, don't worry about the world. Like, things are a bit weird at the minute, but it's all going to work out all right. Either that, or you're going to really get used to seeing the inside of my house. All right. It's been wonderful. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Yes.